Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Abby if you're new here, and on my channel I talk about all things immigration. I talk about finances, I talk about money, I talk about men, dating, life, and lifestyle generally. Let me touch on a few of the topics I usually talk on. So immigration, though, I am heavily focused on immigration because I'm a mover. Nigerians, we move. I think Africans really, especially because most of our countries are on the lower rungs, like third world countries, developing countries, we tend to want to move just so we could increase our mobility scores and just so we could experience more that the world has to offer. So a lot of Africans obviously love to immigrate and move to places, and one of those places we like to move to is Canada, America, Australia, UK, basically any place that there is money to be made. I myself moved from Nigeria to the UK and then to Canada, and right now I'm in the US of A. I'm in America. I have previously talked about how challenging it was for me to actually move to Canada and how I was able to sort of overcome those my challenges and barriers. And I just wanted to encourage all of you who are waiting to move, or anyone who's in the process of moving, to like hold fast to that dream. Like the Bible says, for the vision is for an appointed time. Wait for it. Please don't give up. I really don't know what's going on with Canadian immigration. You guys know that the last draw they actually did for the federal skilled worker category, which a lot of Africans or a lot of people really tend to qualify under, was in December 2020, and everybody knows it's because of the pandemic, but those draws haven't actually resumed, so we're still in a holding pattern. But I just wanted to remind you guys of things you need to keep doing to make sure you're competitive when Canada resumes the federal skilled worker category. I was reading one of the newsletters I get from CIC News. If you're trying to move to Canada and you're not subscribed to CIC News, please, there's a link down below. Subscribe to them so you can get updates and keep abreast with what's going on in Canada and the immigration policies, so you know if it favors you and you know things that you need to work on to get a better score in the express entry pool. Anyway, back to the content I was reading. So I was reading it, and you know what they said? Canada, like a few months ago in September, they actually had over 1 million job vacancies open. So the economy has recovered somewhat from the pandemic, and there are lots of jobs now, which means a lot of companies are going to start pressuring the Canadian government to look for workers within the shores of Canada and without, abroad. So I think it's really important that all of you out there who qualify under the federal skilled worker category and have been waiting, I am just going to caution you guys to keep working hard, increasing your points as much as you can, because remember, now everybody has been waiting for one whole year. There has been no draws, and draws are usually bi-weekly, and those haven't happened. So that means there are so many people that are going to be in that pool. It's going to be way more competitive. If you don't know French, now would be a good time to get on Duolingo or start taking French classes, because a lot of points have been awarded for people who speak French. If you have your IELTS scores, your English language exam scores, which is required for express entry, the general one, make sure those marks are in the CLB 10 category or band, because that gives you double points. That essentially is what gets you into Canada. If you get a great English language score, you're coming to Canada for shizzle, for sure. So make sure you're increasing your points. Make sure everything you're doing is helping you towards that dream or that goal of coming to Canada that you want. Another thing I want to also briefly talk about is the fact that if you're married, your spouse too can also increase your points by going to take a language exam. If you're not married, maybe you ought to start thinking about it, because if you're sort of my age category, I'm not going to say my age, people, I won't, but I'm in my 30s. Whether you want to think mid, early or late, you be my guest. Once you get above 31, your points start to drop. You lose 5 points every year. So I think it is quite strategic, if you're single, to start looking for a partner who's younger than you, who's either younger than you, or obviously that's if you're a guy, and honestly if you're a woman as well. Like, man, if they call you a cougar, would you die? At least you'll be in Canada. But you guys, you get my point though. I'm just saying, do everything you can do to make sure you're ready when the federal skilled worker category actually comes around. Another option, and I think this would be the second option I would actually pose to you, is coming to school in Canada. Throughout the pandemic here, Canada has actually focused on people that might already be in Canada. Those are the draws. They've continued to do draws, just not to people outside Canada, but they've done draws for people within the borders of Canada. And this, I'm sure you know, is the Canadian Experience class, which is the CEC or the PMP. Now the thing with PMP draws is that a lot of them require you to have worked in Canada, to school in Canada, or to be in Canada. So these two draws really have been ongoing since the pandemic, right? They've been taking people. In fact, one draw, which was I think early this year, they took people that had 75 points. 75 points. I guess if you're tired of waiting and if your points are too low to actually qualify for an ITA under the FSW, the Federal Skilled Worker, then maybe you can think about the experience class, because it's a longer term, it's a longer process, but it will work for you. And what this really entails is looking for a school in Canada. But the problem with this again is that you have to obviously look for a school in Canada, pay your international student fees. There are grants available, there are options for financial aid, and then when you look for all of these, you have to go and apply for a student visa. The only problem with this one is because there's this thing called a dual intent. A dual intent. When it says dual, it just means you have more than one intention. So everybody who is coming to Canada these days, they come to Canada with the aim of not going back. So if you're coming to school, the Canadian immigration people know that you plan to stay in Canada when you're done. So that's what is called a dual intent. So the problem now is that when you go and apply for a student visa, they would look at you with the aim of, this person wants to come and live in Canada forever. And that poses a challenge because unlike the straight pathway to immigration, which is the express entry, ITA and PRL, that one they know you're already coming to stay. But for the Canadian Experience class, getting a student visa, you have to prove to them first and foremost that you only want to come and study, you don't like Canada like that, you don't want to come and stay. And that really is a challenging thing to prove, in my opinion. But I think it's a worthy opportunity, and I think it's also a great option as well. If you have plans to do your master's or your PhD or something at a higher level, you can definitely look for a school in Canada. You can pay your fees and you can come here. What that does for you is that when you're done studying a year, 2 years after school, even if you're not quite done, even if you come for a PhD as a 4-year program and in 2 years you've actually done that and you've worked, you can apply for permanent residency under this Canadian Experience class, as long as you've also worked a particular amount of hours. So that is an option. And the reason I mention this is that if you know you're over, like in your 30s, getting into the late 30s, you know, my peeps. Anyway, if you know you're in that age category though, you might want to try this option to come back to school and just see if that helps you. You guys know that I love Canada, even if I'm not there right now. I love Canada, and I think it's a great opportunity for your children and people that know you. You can give back to people that you know, people back home. Last I checked, the Canadian dollar to Nigerian naira was about $450. The US dollar to the Nigerian naira, last I heard, it was $575. So when I send money home, especially during this holiday period, I am like Queen Sheba. Oh, I don't know why I said Queen Sheba. I don't want to be Queen Sheba, but I am like Queen of Gold, because you're obviously impacting people's lives. So I just wanted to say, don't give up, and there are different avenues for you to actually move to Canada, to be honest. So if one doesn't work, try another one. I'm living the dream, guys. Honestly, I know dreams could be different things to different people, but do all you can to try and expand your options and opportunities legally. But yeah, that's all I have to say, and thanks for watching, guys. Remember to hit the subscribe button on your way out, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.